Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome you to the regular meeting of the City Council for the City of Lathrup Village. And I will call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to call the roll.
Roll call, Mayor Brock,
Present?
Mayor Pro Tem Garrett,
Present.
Councilmember Copas,
Here.
Councilmember Manarino Thompson, Councilmember Weeks.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to excuse Ms. Thompson on behalf, because of illness.
I will make that motion.
She did call in and let us know.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Invite everyone, if you will join us in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The agenda has, I think we have a couple additions to the agenda, is that correct?
I know of one.
Okay.
And that's an item N, which would change the November study session from the 2nd until the 9th. We didn't do that for my partner in crime, but we're doing that.
You're
Today.
changing the rules now that, you know.
So that's a suggested change.
Are there any other proposed changes or deletions? All right. Then could we have a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of the noted item N that was just described?
Second. Oh.
Third.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next are the approval of the minutes. First is the study session of the council, which was held on August 17th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Slight change in item number 1, discussed the purchase of dump trucks or discussed purchasing dump trucks. And that's it.
Okay. Could we have a motion to approve the minutes with that correction?
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next are the meeting minutes for the meeting of August 17th, the regular meeting of August 17th. Are there additions and corrections to that set of minutes?
I couldn't find anything. I was very disappointed.
What about you?
No, sir.
No? Then could we have a motion to approve the minutes as
So moved.
submitted?
Second.
So moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next are the minutes for the study session held on September 14th. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
No, sir.
Nope.
Could we have a motion to approve as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to approve the minutes for the study session of September 14th. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. We'll move on to the disbursement reports then. The first is for the period from August 1st, 2015 through August 15th in amounts totaling $46,896.88. The next is for the period from August 16th through August 31st of 2015 in amounts totaling $705,439.31. Do any council members have any questions or comments on the disbursement reports?
I have a question. And I don't know what page, I think this is, I don't know what page it is, but it's where it's under the general fund and it's to Sean Kamer for the Your Town City newsletter for $400.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Prior to his departure, we had worked out an agreement with Sean where he would independently and on his own time produce the city's newsletter, so it didn't interfere with his work duties. So he concluded the fall/winter one which came out, I think, in the first part of September, and that'll be the last one that he would produce for us.
Oh. So this is like how we're going to normally do it, where someone does it on
Yes,
their
we
own time, or-
We've
We
usually
are
used a
currently
freelance
searching-
person.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
we're
right.
searching for
Okay,
an outside
gotcha.
person.
All right,
It's
thank
a
you.
little more unusual to use one who works for us
Right,
in
that's
another
okay.
capacity.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sean just had some particular talents in this area, so we're happy to have him.
And yet, you allowed him to get away.
I did.
Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. Any other?
I have no additional questions.
Could we have a motion then to approve the disbursement reports?
So moved.
Second?
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. This is that time in the meeting when the city council invites those. You're not the only one that can't say words tonight.
Thank you, sir.
To discuss issues that are not listed on the agenda. We would invite you to come forward at this time to the podium and use the microphone, give your name and address for the record, and then address the council. So, does anybody wish to do that this evening? Hearing none, we will move on. Figures they'll get us another meeting when we're not expecting it. So, yeah, that's right. All right, we'll move on to, item 7 talks about public hearings. We do not have any public hearings scheduled for this evening. So we will move on to our action items. First is the consideration of approval of a contract to redesign the city's website.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. We have gone through an extensive process that started with an RFP out to various website developers through the BidNet or Mitten system. We had over 15 people or 15 vendors get back to us. We narrowed it down to Revise. Revise did a presentation to the City Council at their previous study session. I noted 5 items on your memo here that I particularly think are bonuses to working with Revise. The company is a Michigan-based company who gives discounts to other Michigan-based municipalities. That's to the tune of $5,500. The new site is built to accommodate mobile and tablet users, so it kind of goes where people are already at. Our current website was unable to do that. The administration of the website is very simple, what we call the back end. The administrative portion of it. So it's a lot easier to keep the information current, which is another problem with our current website. The new website will allow for transactions online. So instead of having with the idea of normal business hours, we're trying to move past that for a better service to our residents. And the last item is that we were able to keep our email alert system so that our residents are up to date on the happenings within Lathrup Village. So for these 5 reasons and I think the general support following the presentation, I would propose that the City Council approve a contract with Revise for the cost of $9,934. Anecdotally, our last website was about $23,000. So technology is getting better, and we're able to deliver these services at a much more economical rate.
23,000.
Okay. There is a suggested motion. Council members?
I'll make the motion to approve the contract with Revise to provide an updated website for the City of Lathrup Village for a cost not to exceed $9,934.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Go live, phase 8. What's the completion time?
I don't have that information for you yet, sir. I apologize. After our first meeting, when we have a better idea of what the design's going to look like, we'll have a better idea also of what the go-live date's going to be.
Okay.
All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. We'll move on then to the consideration of approval of an agreement with Kitlac for dance instructions. Actually, we have, 3 or 4 of these motions in a
Yes,
row.
sir.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, Matt, why don't you introduce it, so people will understand why we are taking up individual contracts when we haven't done that in the past for this program.
Absolutely, sir. We formerly had a single dance company that administered our dance program. It was Shauna Gray's dance, or Mara Gray's dance studio. The owner of the studio decided to move in a different direction. She no longer wanted to do instruction. She wanted to basically train a competition level team. So because of the timing of their exit, we admittedly did a little bit of scrambling, but we found 3 fantastic teachers that we're going to contract with individually, or won't be coordinated by a single program, but will still maintain the high level of dance instruction that our recreation program has come to be known for. The search is ongoing for a single company to administer this program, but in the meantime, making sure our level of service is high to our residents and their children, we want to make sure that the little kids keep on learning how to dance and keep on this important form of instruction. So the first one comes to you. It's a termed contract. The next 2 are open-ended. We anticipate a longer relationship with the second 2 dance instructors while we locate a new dance company.
So the first one, item B, is the proposed contract with
Tatiana.
Tatiana
Tatiana?
Kitlick. Yes,
Just
sir.
like it sounds.
Kitlack. Kitlack or Luck? Anyway, it's with that person. Is there a maker of a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the attached contract with Tatiana Kitlack and authorize the city administrator to sign on behalf of the city.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
And go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You can go first.
Well, it's just that we assumed that all 3 of these individuals, prior to receiving a contract with the city, will go through some sort of background check. And Scott will oversee that process.
You have the proper room set up to extract that information, don't you? Yeah.
I do.
Oh,
Very good.
Well, I knew there was a Scott that would take care of this.
Yes. We actually subscribe to a online company that we can get the information from. We can also have them use Michigan State Police website, iChat. I think it's a $20 or $25 fee, and they can pay for that and provide us with that paperwork. So there's a number of avenues that we can go through to get that information.
Great.
So just to clarify one thing, that you are really suggesting that as an addendum to the motion you just made, that would be a part of the process,
Yes.
so that there's no
I mean,
doubt.
it's either part of the motion or it's part of the contract.
Okay. Could that be included in the contract, folks?
I think we can amend that to include that. That would be.
Okay. So,
Okay.
All right. So the motion has been made and seconded, right?
Yeah.
You have a question? I'm
And
sorry.
I don't know if this is the right place to do this, but for the next 2, I don't see separate ones. They're the same person. There's 2 contracts with the same person.
Yes.
That's right?
There are.
They're not getting 2 contracts, but it was a duplicate.
That's not the intention.
Oh, okay, so that's what I'm saying. It's not the intention that we have 2
No.
contracts for
No.
one
Well,
person.
let's
Okay.
finish this
Okay.
one first. You have a question on this one?
No, sir.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the contract, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next is is there a difference in those 2 contracts? The
The contract between Miss Christina Ham and the contract between Miss Jennifer Hendrickson were the same form, changing only the names.
Oh, wait a minute.
but weren't there 2
but
included in our packet on
Closed-ended and
hand?
open-ended.
Is there the same?
No, they're both expandable so that the agreement can be ongoing with each new semester. The city would have the
They're
option.
renewable, in other words.
Yes, sir. The option to keep that going for as long as both parties are agreed upon.
But didn't you say there's 2 of the
It
one?
looks like it's 2, but maybe it's, I don't.
No,
It has 2 of the.
It is.
The contract's correct, though. It's just the action request is 2 of those. The contract is correct.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I see the issue.
That makes sense, thank you. So is there a maker of a motion in this case?
Oh, so moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carried. And the last one, item D, is the proposed agreement with Jen Hendrickson
Yes, sir.
for dance instruction. So is there a
These
maker?
are to include the background check.
Yes.
Right.
All right, there. You're
That'll
right.
be put in each of the contracts.
So moved.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. So we move on then to item E. City Council will consider an appointment to the SACWA and SACWA Board of Directors. Now, is this an appointment? Does this include your appointment, or is it just naming someone new to be the alternate?
Technically, it's a appointment of both, but it's a continuation of my service as the city's primary
Okay,
representative, and Mr. Ken Martin will replace Martha Poter as the city's alternate to these boards
All right,
Is there a time period on these?
annually.
annually. We do this every year. Is there a maker of a motion to make that appointment?
Yes, there is. I'll make the motion.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next, we need to have a motion to appoint a city council member to the election commission.
I volunteer.
You what?
You volunteering? I don't think so.
Right.
But good try. It was a good try on your part.
Yeah, no.
Has to be a member of the council who is currently not running for an open seat here. So it could be Mr. Weeks. He has no more access to grind.
No, I'll stuff the ballot box.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
You'll accept
So I will
any and all
accept this
gratuities?
appointment to the Election Commission.
Okay, could we have a motion to
I
make that
will
appointment?
make the motion to appoint Alan Weeks to the election council member, Alan Weeks, to the election commission for the November 3rd, 2015 election.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? There's that railroad train whistle again. See, railroaded him right down the track. All right. The election commission, Madam Clerk, will meet briefly right after this meeting adjourns, I trust. That's what I thought I saw a note to that effect. Okay, next is the city will consider appointments to a medical marijuana ordinance subcommittee. And I tell you, people have been standing in line wanting to be a part of this, but you know, we had to limit the number. Matt, you want to describe what's going on?
Mr. Mayor, we're looking for a broad group to represent the city in crafting a medical marijuana ordinance specific to trying to figure out where we would be allowing dispensaries if they choose to move into the city. So we were going to be, talking about whether or not we'd be able to have these in certain areas of the city. So the ordinance committee is going to talk about different ways that the ordinance could reflect the city's preferences on where these types of businesses would be allowed to operate. 5 members of the subcommittee have volunteered. We would have our very own Maria Thompson, who was on this list before she decided not to be here. So we're not just plugging her in her absence. Myself, Lieutenant Scott McKee, our Assistant City Attorney Scott Baker, and also Rod Arroyo from the Clear Zoning Office, who function as our planners. So once this committee has been formally created, we'll set an aggressive schedule in order to turn around an ordinance to first go through the Planning Commission. It would be we anticipate this to at least be in some part a zoning ordinance, probably a police powers ordinance as well. So we'll have public hearings, Planning Commission will do fact finding, and then they'll make a recommendation to this body for approval or denial. So that is our process.
One of the reasons it's on our agenda tonight is we have been operating as a city related to zoning issues with a moratorium in place against establishing any of this type of business in the community. You can't just do that, and there's, I think, been plenty of court cases that said that you can't just ban a particular type of business without making any allowance for it whatsoever. So that's one of the reasons we instituted a ban some months ago, to give time to really study the issue, see where this activity seems to be going statewide, and Now, we're very near the expiring date for the moratorium, so that'll be our next order of business after this motion for approval of these individuals to serve on the committee will be to extend that for a certain number of days to give this committee the proper time to do their due diligence and come back to us with a recommendation. So is there a maker of the motion, first of all, that the council create a medical marijuana ordinance committee consisting of the above-named members, which was just read to all of you, to propose a zoning amendment pertaining to medical marijuana dispensaries?
And I will make that motion.
Is
I
there,
will second it.
and there's a move and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. And the clerk will notify the various individuals that the committee has been formally appointed and that they're on it. All right. Next is a consideration of a motion to approve a resolution extending a moratorium on development of medical marijuana businesses within the city of Lathrup Village for 90 days. Is that a sufficient time? We were having a little discussion of this in the
Upon opinion of our legal counsel, I'm going to ask that actually be amended to read 120 days to allow time for this process.
So the motion then, if anybody is going to put it forward, would be to extend it for 120 days. Has been the recommendation. So, any council member wish to?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution extending a moratorium on medical marijuana businesses for 120 days.
I'll second.
What's the start date on that? Is it today?
It would be today, yeah.
Okay.
That's a good thing we did 120. All right. Any other discussion, questions? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next, we'll consider a first reading of an amendment to the zoning code concerning mobile food vending. Over the last year or so, I think many of you have seen.
No, actually, we got item I.
We've got,
What?
yeah.
Oh, did I get too carried away?
Yeah, you accidentally hit it. Moratorium on adult daycare.
Oh,
facilities.
I'm sorry. There is another item. Item I.
Aye.
Consider a moratorium on adult daycare facilities.
Mr. Mayor, this item comes to you on recommendation from the Planning Commission. They have an applicant in front of them who wants to open an adult daycare facility. Planning Commission would like time to study ordinance language that would allow the proper oversight that would ensure safe care for those that are going to be entrusted to these types of businesses, as well as our own residents, covering both bases.
Thank you.
So in order to sufficiently study and bring forth to you a recommended set of ordinances, the Planning Commission is requesting a 90-day moratorium in order to fulfill their role as a consulting body to this for zoning amendments. So there's a resolution in front of you now that outlines a 90-day period.
And the application, that's the Planning Commission has been with this is the second time within the past year that we've had some expression of interest in starting that type
Yes,
of
sir.
business here in the community. The first one was proposed for Southfield Road, was turned down because we felt it was not a safe location, and many other reasons why it wasn't an appropriate use for that particular piece of property. But I'm sorry, Mr. Weeks, you were going to add?
Well, to make the proper motion, is this an extension of the moratorium for 90 days?
Is there a moratorium?
No,
on
the
it?
current moratorium has expired, so this would be,
Oh, all right.
this would be for a new moratorium.
Okay.
And you've got some language you want to,
Yeah, this, our office will provide an updated resolution. The one that was included in your packet's not the,
Okay.
is not the appropriate one that will be in place.
So I'll make a motion to approve a resolution instituting a moratorium on development of adult daycare centers.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Now, we'll go back to the one I tried to ram through here. The City Council will consider a first reading of an amendment to the zoning code concerning mobile food vending. Matt? Or is it City Attorney? Introductory description of this, what it's meant to do? And it's have to meant to not have those in existence in our city until we've got an ordinance that,
That's a good idea. Now,
I'm glad I thought of that.
as we discussed during the study session, this is a byproduct of the Planning Commission following many months of deliberation on this to address an issue that the city had been having with respect to some mobile food vending uses that weren't currently regulated. So this ordinance is in response to that, which, like as I indicated, through the Planning Commission, we have prepared a proposed ordinance, which it's not in final legal format yet, but it will be shortly. That sets to regulate the use of mobile food vending, limiting the duration and location, impact on the associating neighborhood.
The absence of any kind of ordinance obviously leaves the door wide open for them to set up just about anywhere they want in business districts of the city. And it's not that we're trying to stop them ever having one, but that they are governed in such a way that the areas they put those units are approved by the city for that use, and it's an acceptable practice. But because it's become a very popular thing, obviously. A lot of you probably work where food trucks show up, and some of them are dispensing some very good food. I mean, obviously, they become very popular. So, but the way it was going, they'd set up anywhere they seemed to darn well please, and we don't want that to, because that's kind of hard on businesses who invested in their property to have a complete dining establishment or whatever it is. So we want to make sure it's fair to all parties, and so that's among the things that Planning Commission is faced with bringing about as a part of an ordinance. So this will put a moratorium on that. Is there a motion?
Well, it doesn't put a moratorium on it, it just puts some regulation on it.
Yes.
Well, the ordinance will. Doesn't this put an
No, we're on food truck vending now.
Yeah, I know.
No, it doesn't
Oh,
put a
I'm on adult
moratorium. It
daycare.
puts conditions, it makes it it allows for it as a temporary use subject to specific conditions.
Okay, excuse me, I'm sorry.
This is the first reading.
Yeah, it's the first
Yeah.
reading.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of Article 2 definitions and Article 6 development procedures, and set October 19th, 2015 for the second reading and adoption.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion?
Well, just on behalf of the Planning Commission, they are very much for food vendors coming into the city, but on a limited basis, more or less a trial basis from the standpoint of where they set up, how long they're allowed, lighting, sound, temporary restroom facilities, and being permitted, coming to the city and actually identifying who they are, where they're going to be. So we're very pleased with this. It's maybe a first step in the process, but it's a very good first step because we are limiting the time that they're allowed to set up. But and the Planning Commission is very excited about the possibility of food vendors serving the residents, and we'll be excited to see how the residents respond. If it's something that they want, then we can look at it at a different angle. But this allows the process to begin under a very limited and organized basis.
Controlled basis.
Controlled basis.
Yeah. Are you making the motion?
We already have.
Oh, you have, okay. That's what happens when you fall down hills and land on it.
Want to vote?
There's a, yes, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And we will move on then to item K, which is a first reading of an amendment to the zoning code concerning off-street parking standards.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
this is another one that comes to you from the Planning Commission, who have been very popular here tonight. They reviewed our existing parking standards, found that there were some areas in which there were updates that were required, especially considering that some other nearby municipalities had conducted thorough studies recently, and we're sort of the beneficiaries of the knowledge that they gained, and we weren't used to incorporate that into our own parking standards. You'll see as you read through there, most of the changes are in red, but we've tried to take a very real-world and market approach to the parking requirements that we have in our commercial districts to make sure that we're not being overly burdensome, to make sure that there's provisions for sharing parking. We know that is a big issue in every successful downtown, and we anticipate it, well, we're seeing it now, and we anticipate it as we start to develop in line with our master plan. We know we're going to see parking issues. So as Bruce said in the previous item, this is a good first step. We anticipate more steps to come through the work of the Planning Commission, but this at least brings us in line with some of the best information that's out there on the market for municipalities now. So it comes to you not in legal format, but for the first reading, but it will by the October 19th second reading if the council chooses.
Mayor, I move to approve the first reading of the amendment of Section 5.13 off-street parking of the zoning ordinance and set October 19, 2015 for the second reading and adoption.
So, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next is item L. The City Council consider a resolution naming September Suicide Prevention Month. The material on this got to us kind of late, so while it's naming the month of September, we still thought we ought to put it on here and adopt it as it is a crucial concern for our community as well as many others.
I brought it to the attention of City Council because, as many of you may or may not know, my nephew committed suicide September of last year. And it was something for me and my family that was just devastating. And the more that I've talked about it, the more I'm finding out that there are a lot of people that are affected by suicide within their family. And the one thing about suicide is that it's almost like that dirty little secret that nobody wants to talk about.
Sure.
And the fact is, what I'm learning is there are a lot of people that go through some dark times and some dark feelings. Not everybody acts upon it. But just to acknowledge and to also, in memory of my nephew, Matthew Brown, I had asked to name September as Suicide Prevention Month for Lathrup Village. That's it.
Okay, is there a maker of the motion to adopt this resolution?
I can do the motion also.
Yeah, take it back.
Why don't you do that?
Okay, well, thank you. So I'm making the motion to adopt a resolution naming September as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in the city of Lathrup Village.
Second motion.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Then the next would be a motion to consider the acceptance of the various departmental reports that are included in your packet.
Mayor, I move to accept the department reports as submitted.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
We do not have a DDA report
Or Planning Commission.
Board of Planning Commission.
No, sir. The Planning Commission minutes, the meeting was a little long and they just weren't on in, so they'll be presented to in a separate meeting. The DDA, without a director, has not met in the last month, so there was nothing to pass along to at this time. So.
Very good, thank you.
And then also, I appreciate the summary of offenses, what Councilwoman Manarino Thompson asked for. The only thing is that, as I talked about earlier, is showing some major highs and major lows. So, you know, we have 100% in areas that just one incident caused 100%. So, I mean, I appreciate the report. I just, you know, someone else got it, looks like we can mess up in one area, or we clean up really well in another area. So it's just, thank you, I guess.
Well, I think the chief also, when he,
Yeah. So I
we
agree
made the
with- I
request
agree
of,
with
he
the
warned,
chief.
he warned us in part
Yes.
that we were going to have some categories that are skewed because of the small sample that it really consists of. So
And I'm glad that we're fighting the watercraft issues that we have in Lathrup.
yeah.
100% improvement.
I saw it, but I'm not really sure what.
Well, our first step is we drained Southfield Road, so
100%
we couldn't use it as a
improvement. Good
river. So,
It must have been from that last April when we had the, the rains.
Have we voted?
Maybe we had floating crafts at
No,
that.
no.
So they're under control this year.
Well, I know in the past there's been, we're joking about this a little bit. In the past, there's been incidents where we had homeowners that bring their watercraft and park it in an area that they're not supposed to be doing that. So one more tool, I suppose. Are there any other comments or questions about any of those departmental reports? If not, all those in favor of the motion to accept, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Motion carries. And that concludes our action items.
Well, we have
No,
item
we have
N.
one more. We added an item N, which is to reschedule our study meeting from the first Tuesday of October to the 2nd. And the exact date was,
November.
in November. It's not October. All right.
I'll make a
November,
motion
yeah.
to change
Do it right
our
for me, would you?
November study session from November 2nd
Okay.
to November 9th.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. Mr. City Administrator, do you have any updates or other reports you wish to share with us, other than what we've already discussed this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I have two doesn't really loud, upcoming dates of note for you. One is the close of registration for voters to register to vote in the November 3rd, 2015 election. That date is going to be October 5th. So for those watching at home that have not yet registered, October 5th is the last day to register to vote for the November 3rd election. Along that same line, sir, the League of Women Voters is going to be co-hosting with the city a candidates forum right downstairs in our community room. That forum is going to be October 8th. 6.
Are we getting the word out on that to our,
Yep, so it was featured in our newsletter. It's currently running on our cable station, and then we're carrying the information on our
October
website as well.
8th, for what time is it going to start?
October 8th, 7.
What?
7?
7 p.m.? Now, is this going to include some discussion as well of the proposed ballot issue, or the ballot issue that's going to appear on the,
Yes, sir. The League of Women Voters will be prepared to ask each of the council members about it as well, and there will be discussions. Or each of the council candidates, I have to say.
okay. All right. City Attorney, do you have any items of updates you want to share with us?
Nothing from our office at this time.
Somebody shared with me earlier tonight, was it you? The listing of bills before the legislature?
No.
Oh, it was you, okay. Might share that with Matt. As you know, we have had problems in the past with gas stations applying for liquor licenses.
Yes, sir.
And there is a House Bill 4895 that's going to allow for those types of activities to take place at various retailers and gas stations, and that would be a specially designated and distributor license. I just think we should get hold of our state rep, find out exactly where this thing is, and get on record that this is one more area they're trying to chisel away at
Local control.
local
Yeah.
control.
Absolutely.
There, I gave you a legal item. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Are there any unfinished or new business that the members of the council wish to bring up this evening?
I wish to congratulate the rec department for a wonderful Fall Fest, their 25th year. 20th. Anyway, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And it's always,
And lots of
it's
work.
always new, always interesting, and always well attended. They didn't let the adults get a pumpkin, nor did they let me ride the pony, but other than that, fun was had by all.
Everyone but you. That's really a shame, too. All right.
Wouldn't let anyone ride the pony.
Yes, we don't always acknowledge our staff that work so hard, and in addition to the staff, obviously, the
Volunteers.
and these bigger productions like that take a lot of volunteers to work it out, and the help of other city departments, the police, the DPS, et cetera. So we appreciate everybody that contributed to make it such a success. Any other unfinished business or new business by council members?
No, sir.
All right. I don't have any correspondence to share this evening. It's all classified. Oh, no. No further business to come before this body. I would accept a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I dare you. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.